Hey, 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 welcome, welcome. It's Friday Reads Live. I'm Dee Dee, and I'm here to talk to you about the books that I'm reading today, this weekend, and surely into the following week. So I'm waiting to see who comes into the chat to discuss books with me. If you are watching, please feel free to come and tell us what you're reading, even if you don't want to, participate in the discussion, that's fine. But don't feel shy about coming and telling us what you're reading. We like to hear what everybody is reading. This is a free space. We don't always agree, and that's all right. We're still friends. Hello, Curly Q. How are you? Happy Friday. How was your Friday? And what are you reading? And how was the graduation of the baby? Let us know. Hello, Fatima. Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. What are you reading? See, I'm currently not reading anything. Here to get ideas whenever this slump business. Oh, yeah. Look, I had read nothing. I think the last thing I read was on the 2nd of June, is when I finished reading the Potato Factory. I finished it, yeah, on Tuesday. Well, I don't know what day it was, but it was the 2nd of June. I finished it, and since then I have not read anything. Now I don't feel like I'm in a slump because I had intentionally wanted to pick up Passion Tide and didn't get to it. I started trying to organize my craft space and realized how much of a freaking pigsty it was and how everything was everywhere and I couldn't find anything. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know where this is and where it's at. And so I basically spent the beginning of June trying to organize my craft space and not worrying about reading and all the other garbage I have to do. So yeah, so we're gonna start reading today. So yeah, sometimes we need a break. We need a break. We need a break. We need a break. Hello, Cher. How are you? Happy Friday and happy weekend. Hello, Birdie. Birdie says happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday to me. She says she's in the middle of so many books right now, finishing the third book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet. Okay, quartet. And then she's going to start Palace Walk. Ooh, you're going to be doing that. Give my food. Yes. Okay, I've only read Palace Walk. I thought it was fantastic. But I need to read the rest of that trilogy. That's probably going to be my goal for next year's reading is to finish this Palace Walk trilogy. I think it's called Palace Walk trilogy. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Okay, so Brace is in. She hopes to finish the English bookshop after that. Oh, you got a lot on. Like me, I got a lot on too. Hello, Teresa. Happy Friday, girl. It's been a minute. So happy you're here. What are you reading? How are you? Let's see. Curly Q says graduation was everything. Okay, it was great. I haven't cried. I'm guessing that I'll come. That'll come at college drop off. She's only going 1 hour away, but it'll be different around the house. Yeah, I mean, I know what that's like. I went 1 hour away as well, and yeah, it's for parents. I think it's the real reckoning when you realize your kids are going away. You're dropping. I mean, even my kids when they went to study in Paris, it's only an hour in the car away, but yeah, you're not going to see them every day. So I totally get it. You're going to be an empty nester. Oh, okay. So Regina says, "Hi everyone. I'm reading Passion Tide for Caribathon. Girl, everybody on the Caribathon now." Me plus two says, "Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome back." She finished the Book of Night Women. Yes. And I lost so much sleep staying up late to read that book. I know, right? Oh my God, it's so good. Now she says she's going to finally tackle Les Miserables. I love that book so much. It feels like this is a year for that one. Yeah, if you got the time and you got to be patient now because there's some the way he goes by telling the story. You might be a little bit like, Like we need to know all of this, but just read and just let it go. It's really good. Okay, so Bertie said, I'm really intrigued. Yeah, it's really good. That book was, it was well done. I did immersive reading with that one. Sometimes I would just read the book. Sometimes I'd listen a little bit while I'm on the way to work in the car. Sometimes I would do immersive, so that's when you're reading and listening at the same time. And I really enjoyed that book. I mean, I looked forward to, I want to put it down, but I had to, and then when I had to pick it up, I was like, I need to pick it up now. And when I couldn't pick it up because I had work or something else, I was really disappointed because you read it and you're looking forward to picking it up again. It's one of those stories. It's very sweeping, and it's historical to a certain extent because the main character was a real person, and he uses that real person as a catalyst to tell the story at this particular time period of 18th century. And he adds other characters around, and there's this one character in particular that you absolutely fall in love with the moment she sets foot on the page. It's just, oh my God, so good. And then it ended like it had like a good ending, but then there was a cliffhanger because it's a trilogy. So now I'm like, I'm gonna need to read the second book, which is Tomo and Hawk. And I think I'm gonna pick it up next month because I'm like, I need to see how this is gonna, what's gonna go with this one. I really enjoyed it. I mean, it was my kind of book. It's not a literary fiction. I would say it's more like a contemporary. So don't expect anything like that. It's a contemporary. It's Bryce Courtney. I feel like Bryce Courtney. He's actually South African, and he just writes a lot of books about a lot of different places and things and people. But I feel like in this one, he did a really good job of giving us a good perspective of what it was like 18th century London, with the down in the dirt kind of people, living on the wrong side of London, getting up to no good all the time, and how difficult it was, and then also how difficult it was being a woman, and a woman wanting to have a job like a man. So it makes it's just it's good. I loved it. I would highly recommend it. I think I gave it like 4.5. Yeah, very good read. If you don't want to pick up the big 832-page book, get the audio. The audio was done really, really well. The guy read all the characters, but he did a fantastic job. So yeah. Okay, so Bertie said, oh, Curlicue said, Bertie, I'm there. Returned 2 books to the library, unfinished. Oh, and my aunt gave me a self-help book about getting yourself organized. Yeah, I don't like self-help books. That ain't gonna get my ass organized. I can tell you right now. I do not like self-help books. Yowza. Hello, Olivia. How are you? Olivia's a major readathon. And I think I'm in a reading slump, even though I'm reading a lot of that makes sense. Yeah, well, that does make sense because I feel like people get into slumps when they start reading too much, and too much of what they wouldn't necessarily pick up at the time that they're picking it up. Not that you would never pick that book up, just that you wouldn't pick it up necessarily at this moment if it wasn't for that readathon. So yeah, I mean, I've never really been good with readathons. I always look at people and I applaud people that can do a readathon. I'm not the one. I mean, like if one of those readathons where you just have to, read as much as you can in 72 hours, I can do that. I'll just pick 2 books and I read them in 72 hours. But I ain't sitting here trying to read no 5 books in 72 hours. That's just not, I don't roll like that. But yeah, I can see why you would be slightly in a slump because you're not really reading and pacifying your real desire of what you want to read. You're trying to fulfill your readathon. So I can see that happening. Hello, DL. How are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? Okay, so Fatima says she's reading Passion as well by Monique Roffey and starting Ibis by Justin Haynes. I've seen this book, yeah, around. Okay, Olivia says happy Friday to me. Happy Friday to you too. Okay, I'm happy Friday, girl. How are you? What are you doing? What are you reading? Let's Friday says I'm hoping to start Paula's walk. Oh, Paula's walk or Palace walk this weekend. I think it's Palace walk is what you wanted to write. Teresa said, I'm good. Being back in the office makes it harder to hop on Fridays. I miss you guys. I'm reading Zeal and we'll start plus size player tonight. Oh, very nice. Very nice. I know we missed you, Teresa. Girl, like going back in the office, I'm like mad because we missed you over here. Me plus two says currently reading When We Were Birds, Washington Black. Washington Black is a good book. Take My Hand, A Girl Within a Girl Within a Girl, In Love and Trouble, We'll Pick Up Good Dirt Soon. Oh, you had a lot going on there. Birdie says, okay, good. I was going to ask about how was it reading it from a man's perspective because a lot of male writers can't write women properly. I feel like, I feel like he wrote her pretty well. Um, Keep in mind a lot of the dialogue, it's not an intense dialogue. I don't know if you understand what I mean by that. Let's see if I can explain. Like the dialogue is not necessarily a very long, like one whole page, two-page dialogue. It's usually like the beginning of a dialogue, and then it's the narrator that takes over and recounts the rest. Um, so he doesn't have too many moments where he can mess up and not sound like a woman from that point of view of the dialogue. Now, from the point of view of the choices that she makes and the things that she does, I feel like he did okay with this particular Mary Abacus. I think he did really well with her. I loved her character. I was rooting for her right from the moment she stepped on the page. She was everything. I mean, for me, she was the main character. Even though it's really Ike is the main character, and then you have his wife, who is Hannah, is another character, but she's not even she's like a secondary character, Hannah, because she's not on the page that much. Not as much as Mary. And then you have Mary Abacus, who's on the page a lot more, and Mary Abacus is his lover. And so you have two different households, and so you see the building of the characters through the first half of the book, because half of it is in London and the other half is in Van Diemen's Land, which is the old name for Tasmania. So yeah, I think he did a pretty good job. I mean, yeah, he took care. I think he did a good job. Hello, Billy. How are you? Happy Friday. Cody said, I was like, okay, when will I have time to read it? No, no, no. You don't have to read if you don't want to. I mean, that's just me. I read it because it was on my bookshelf and I needed to read it because it's been on my shelf for a long time, unread. Okay. Got to get rid of these unread books. Hello, Curtis. How are you? Welcome. Happy Friday to you. What are you reading? Curly Q said, I saw a new Kristen Hanna book at Target. What, The Women? I had to slowly walk away because that woman dangerously hooks you. Okay, yeah, I have The Woman on my bookshelf. It'll be my first Kristen Hanna because I've not read anything by her before. I'm hoping to read that in the fall. Amalola said, reading Nina's Matchbox by Yoko Ogawa. I love Yoko Ogawa. The Village Weavers by Miriam J. Chauncey or Chauncey. I think it's actually Chauncey, but I'm not sure. And still reading A Brief History of Seven Killings. You got a lot on, girl. You got a lot on. But they all sound fantastic. I know A Brief History of Seven Killings is fantastic, but the other two sound fantastic as well. Hello, Alicia. How are you? Happy Friday. You reading? Thanks for coming. Let's see. DL says, not sure what I am reading this weekend. I have too many options. Girl, I know that. Also, her mom is flying in tonight. Okay, girl, you're not reading. Your mama coming in. Your mama coming in. You ain't got time to read. No, you're gonna be with mama. Curly Q said, "Has anyone read the Holly series from Stephen King?" No, 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 no. I have not read any Stephen King and don't plan on it. Is it worth it? I happened upon book three and it sounded good. I was going to get it, but saw it was in a series. Girl, all he know how to do is a series. Somebody in here might know how to help you with that one. Olivia said, "Well, that is some good points, Dee. I am picking the books, but I have a lot of library books that need to be finished, so that's determining my order more than my choices." Well, yeah, I mean, when it's like that, when it's never your full choice, this is when it always can be. It can feel like obligatory reading, and that can sometimes beat people down, even though they don't want to admit that it's kind of beating them down a little bit. But you just do what you have to do. If there's something you don't want to read, then don't fucking read. I mean, you're not gonna win an award and you ain't winning no money. So, just do what you do what you feel like you need to do. Don't feel compelled to read stuff that you don't want to read at the moment. I mean, I just don't feel it's worth it. It's not worth it. Curtis said he's currently reading Built from the Fire by Victor Luckerson, I think it is. Nonfiction book. Okay, never heard of it. I'm gonna look it up though. Had to DNF girl. The DNF black cake. Jesus. Just too much going on that didn't keep my interest. Why am I not surprised? I tell you, that black cake was a big 2 star for me. Not good. Not good at all. I'm sorry. Not good. Not good. Hello, Rosa. How are you? Happy Friday. Let's start. I can't wait to pick it up. Oh, yeah, the Potato Factory. Yeah, it's a good one. Curtis said, but I will start immersive reading of the Book of Night. Ooh, yeah, the Book of Night Women. You can't go wrong with that. I know you're excited. You're gonna love the book. That's gonna keep you up. You're not gonna want to bed. You don't want to read all night. It's really good. Cher said to Curtis, "I think the audio version of the Book of Night Women would be amazing," and it is amazing. The sample is very impressive. Sadly, my library didn't have it. Oh no! The audio is so well. It's done really, really well. The audio. Curly Q said, "No, not the women. It was something different, a purplish color." Well, I don't know, girl. That's the only one I know. Hello, Nicole. How are you? Happy Friday. What are you reading? Let's see. Amalola says Miriam wrote what's yeah, I know her. I know her. I know who she is. That you said what Storm with Thunder is one of your favorite books. Yeah, a lot of people really like that one a lot. I think I do have that one on my shelf. I have both of hers on my shelf. Teresa said to Curly Q, "I love the Holly character. She was in the Mercedes series." Okay, now that's gonna get complicated right there. A cross series situation. Curly Q said, "I think it's Another Life by Kristen Hanna." Yeah, I don't recognize it. Rosa said, "I started listening to When We Were Birds, and I'm finishing up Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, 80% done." Very nice. Cher said, "Kristen Hanna is a mixed bag for me. I think her writing is filled with cliches and things bother me about her characters slash plot. But Curly Q was right. She hooks you guarded and keeps you reading." Yeah, I mean, this is what I hear. She's popular. A lot of people rave about her books and loving her books. Amaloa says to Rosa, "How are you getting on with Dream Count?" Curly said, "Ooh, I read book one of Mercedes, but it weirded me the heck out and I ran, but I'll pick up book one for her." Okay. So Curly's thanking Teresa. Hello, Kay Davida, our resident poet. How are you? Happy Friday. Kay said, "Happy Friday. I've not been doing much, but I'm good. That's all that matters, girl. That's all that matters." Hopefully, maybe if Raymond comes, we can wish him a happy birthday if he comes. It's Raymond's birthday. Curly said, "Don't even get started, Black Girl." That book was just horrible. I don't know. I ain't like it. I ain't like it at all. Curtis says to share, yeah, yes, I want to try with the audiobook since it has the patois in it to enhance my reading experience of the book. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it because the audiobook is done really well, and I think it's Robin Miles that does the audiobook, if I'm not mistaken. Cher said, I miss being in face to face book clubs, but I do love that now I never read anything I don't feel like reading, like at all. Yeah, I get that totally. Teresa says to Curtis, an immersive read of the Book of Naaman was fire. Yeah, it was fire. Katie Reader says, I read Good Dirt and Black Cake. Charmaine just has a peculiar writing style. Yeah, I think it's a little more than just the peculiar writing style. I think it's also how she goes about telling the story. It's no, I don't know. I'm not reading Good Dirt, but Black Cake. The way she told that story, I was like, this is way too cliche and weird for me. I did not like it at all. Curlicue said exactly what I needed. Thank y'all. Going to get back to reading next week titles, and I'm taking notes. Okay, great. Rosa said to Amalola, I'm liking it. It's a different side slash view of African womanhood. It's a solid 4 plus, not a linear novel, but the story told through 4 women. Yeah, it's a multiple voice book. Me plus two says, Kay, the reader, thanks for mentioning that. I will definitely keep that in mind while reading our Charmaine's books. Kay, the reader said Raymond had some B-Day plans this afternoon, so probably won't join us today. No problem. If you talk to him, tell him we all said happy birthday to him. All right, so you want to know what I'm reading? Well, what I'm gonna start reading for June because I hadn't really read anything for June yet. So, Passion Tide, Monique Ruffy. I'm gonna start this one tonight, and just see where it takes me. I wasn't a fan of the Mermaid of Black Conch, but this is a Riverthorn pick, so I'm down. I'm gonna do this. All right, so that's one preview read. Okay, the second one, this is Thérèse Raquin, and this is Emile Zola. This is my book that I'm reading French with Anna this month. This one, I've been waiting to read this one for a long time. This is a classic where it's woman falls out of love with her husband, then she gets a lover, and then they off her husband. So this one, yeah, I'm interested to see what this is going to be like. And one thing is good is it's not very long. I think this one is only like 300 pages. So it's like 301 pages. So I'm happy with that. And then the last one I'm going to be reading is this one right here, which is Josephine Baker. This is a graphic novel by Cattell and Bouquet. It looks like this on the inside. So I'm going to be reading this. This is one of my books from my Beefcake Book Challenge for my big book reading that I'm doing this year. This is one of the books. So this one is something like, I don't know, maybe 500, I think, in 64 pages. This one. So I'm happy to read this because I've not read any graphic novels so far this year. This is probably one of the longer ones I have. That's why I put it on my big book stack to read. So I'm very happy about that. All right. Yeah, I know. It's my window is this is it's turning, and I'm getting this kind of. Let's see if I can do it back here. It might be better. Yeah, you can see it a little better there. So it's going to be a long read, but a nice one. So that's what I have this weekend and into the following week. With the hopes I can finish this one pretty quickly. I'm not sure. And I'm hoping this one is going to be good. All right. So let's see. Girl, I know I'm not gonna like good dirt. I didn't like black cake, so I'm not even going down that road. Okay, I'm done. I know how to avoid the shit that I'm not gonna like. I mean, I did not like that book at all, so I know I'm probably not gonna like dirt. Sure. I already hate the title, Good Dirt. I don't like the title at all. Um, Teresa says to Curly Q, Mercedes series is the best, but you can skip book 3 and go to other Holly books. Okay, well that's good to know. And it says happy birthday to Raymond. And then Birdie says, I finished King of Ashes this week and it was absolutely amazing. 5 stars. Bring it. S.A. Cosby gonna bring it every time. So Birdie says King of Ashes is her favorite by S.A. Cosby. Wow. Because I think my favorite is Razor Blade Tears. That's my favorite. And then my second favorite, but I haven't read All Sinners Bleed. But my second would have to be Blacktop Wasteland. Um, Hello, Karen. How are you? So just saw, yeah, I'm live here every Friday at 6 p.m. CET. Okay, in London, it's 5 p.m. for you guys. You're in London. Wow. What are you doing in London? Probably book shopping. That's what you're doing in London. Um, Kirky said, I love Beauregard. Yeah, so Blacktop Wasteland is, yeah, I really like Beauregard as well, but I still like Razorblade Tears, the story more. That's my favorite. But I do love the character Beauregard. I totally get it. Um, let's roving here. So Karen says, good, good. I know that, but I'm used to it being at noon. Yeah, I know for sure. Um, Birdie said, I feel like Blacktop Wasteland doesn't get enough love and it's fantastic. It really is fantastic. And Beauregard is a fantastic character. And when I met S.A. Cosby, he talked a lot about the character of Beauregard. That he really liked that character and a model off of some of the men in his family. So there's something particular about the character of Beauregard and that story of Blacktop Wasteland. So yeah, I know. I totally get it. I totally get it. Let's see. Karen says the students got done school last week, Friday, so I left right behind them for for summer vacation, Oxford, London, and next Norwich. Loads of book shopping. I know, girl. You're gonna have to get a suitcase, bring that shit back. Be careful bringing all that back because they might turn around and charge you a tax when you get into the country. That's how crazy they are in America. Oh, you got a Sarah Waters book signed. Very nice, very nice. There are more, but I only have so much room in my luggage. Yeah, it's either that, or you can maybe mail it to yourself. Mail them one book at a time. Maybe get away with doing that. Wait, Karen, I'll be lucky if I get back into the. Yeah, I know. Well, I feel like if you just have like one or two, or at the max 3 books, it could be okay. You just put them in your suitcase and you say, "Look, these are books I read." You know, take off all of the price tags and everything, and just act like these are books that you brought with you to read, and just have 3. If you have more, like say for instance, you have 6, then maybe just try to send them through the mail. It might be a lot easier. He said, literally just called my local bookstore to see if they are posting a new sign. They aren't. Womp womp. Oh no. At the last signing, I specifically asked if that character would be in more books. He said definitely, and he laughed at me for using the full name. I loved it. I think, yeah, I really like S.A. Cosby because he's a really down to earth kind of person, and so when he talks about his writing, he's very passionate about it. So I think he probably realized how much you connect. You know, you get it. You get Beauregard. You know, so he was probably, that's why I laughed, because maybe a lot of people don't make the connection or get it like you got it. You see, and I feel like that's probably why why he was really happy. Bertie said, if I get more than three when I go to Canada in July, I'm going to mail them to myself because I don't trust having it go through customs. Yeah, I don't trust it going through customs either. At least if you send one or two books at a time, it should be fine. It should go through with no problem. But you bringing that shit through customs, like crazy as they acting in the airport now. You don't know if they're going to take your suitcase or your phone or both. I mean, that's just it's crazy. Um, Teresa said to Curly Q, a bonus to living near DC is that everyone comes here. Yeah, that's really true. Karen said, I've never had problems through customs, but things have gotten mad. Yeah, girl, this ain't the same customs you're talking about. Mm-mm. They are nuts. I would not trust it. I wouldn't go with more than three books in my suitcase. Even better, put two in your suitcase and one in your carry-on, and act like you're reading that one in the carry-on and that you read the other two that was in your suitcase. That way, they can't say, "Oh, you bought these." If you've taken off all the tags and everything, how are they going to know? They're not going to know. So the rest, if you got that many, I would just send it. Yeah, send it by mail. It's safer. Bertie said, I'm really worried about the phone part. Yeah, well, I feel like for the phone part, the best thing to do is to take your uh take your apps off your phone. So take off your IG, your TikTok. I mean, you can take it off your phone. You can just go back and put it on later and access your stuff. But I feel like that's what you should do is just take it off your phone and go through like that. And if you've got anything like pictures or anything that are weird, then just erase those or put them in a file or something and erase them off your phone because they're not playing. Or literally go out and get yourself a burner phone. Yep, that's the only other option. Do what what's the face did the journalist um what's her name? She had to get a burner phone because she was scared shitless. She said, I'm going to stay with my phone. She been got herself a burner phone. Let's see. Billy said S.A. Cosby was in Nashville on Wednesday. We had a time. Yeah, he's a great guy. Yeah, it is effing sad. This is where we are now. Billy Q said, I know y'all did. Yeah, I know. He was a lot of fun when we had him for breakfast. Hey D, how you doing? Happy Friday. What are you reading? Like you could have like a picture or something that somebody sent you with something about Trump, you know, and you may have saved it or somebody sent it to you through WhatsApp and it's in your pictures. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about. You should, take off your phone. Like somebody sent me something about Trump and it had, he's in the picture and there's derogatory things about him. So like I would not want that to be in my phone if I was going through customs. I would have erased that shit, you know. I'm just saying. Uh you saw a naked man in a bicycle. Well, you are in England. I don't know what to tell you. You're in England, girl. Those people love to streak. That's like I want to say that's a national sport is streaking in the UK. Yes, Anna, it was Christiane Amanpour. She was supposed to go to do a speech at a graduation, I think at Harvard. Child, she was like, I ain't bringing my phone over there with these crazy people. She went out and got herself a burner phone to go through the customs because she was like, and this woman has talked to freaking crazy dictators and all kind of people. And she was like, nah, I'm bringing a burner phone, man. She was not playing Christiane Amanpour. Um, Girlicky said naked bike rides are a thing, or was he just solo? Cher said, laugh out loud to Curly ask a real question. Dee said, read A House for Miss Pauline, A House for Miss Pauline, for Read Caribbean, and Martyr for BookTube. Oh, okay. I hear Martyr is good though. Curly Q said, Lord, I'll take a month for me to scrub my ish. I know that's why do Christian, I'm a poor did. Get yourself a burner phone. You ain't gotta scrub nothing, man. You ain't gotta scrub nothing if you go with the burner phone now. Um Curly Q said, you're in England. Well, look, they are known for streaking all over the place. Karen said it's an event. He was solo, but meeting up with others. Oh, more streakers. Okay. Okay, girl. Meeting up with other streakers. Hey, Tracy, how are you? What are you reading? Amalola said she liked Martyr, and she said the author is also funny. Okay, so Curly Q is saying hello, Tracy. Um, yeah. So I don't know what we're going to talk about today. I thought about something. Oh, that's what it was. How how influenced are you when you hear like like if a new book comes out and let's say it's 3 months later and it's gotten really really popular, how influenced do you feel that you are by hearing everybody say they really liked it, it's really good? Do you feel like you're going to actually read it? Do you feel compelled to read it? Or are you not that influenced by what you hear people say is good or not good? That's just something that I thought about the other day when I was watching a booktube video. I was watching somebody's booktube video, and the person um, was talking about this book, and she said, "Yeah, I have to. I was going to read this book. It was on her bookshelf. And she was going to read it, and then she heard two other people say something derogatory about the book. So she immediately, she basically read like 10 pages and then gave up. And so I'm thinking, you only gave it 10 pages. Like you can give it a bit more." And she gave up. And I have a sneaky suspicion she gave up because one, she found that the book was difficult to read, and two, she just bought into what she heard the other two people say. So that's why I'm asking: do you feel like you do you feel compelled to drop a book or to pick it up because somebody said, "Oh, this is terrible," or "Oh, this is good"? Wait, let's see. Okay, Birdie said, "I'm a tough sell because a lot of popular books I don't like. I'm more likely to take personal recommendations from friends of mine, like Bree, me, and stuff like that." Okay, yeah. I don't even know what BookTube even recommends anymore because BookTube is all over the place at this point. Regina said, and she enjoyed that one. Which one? Tracy. Caribbean Pepper Pot. Okay, Pepper Pot and Other Stories of the Caribbean. She said the more hyped and popular a book is, not like with you guys, but if the book is everywhere, it is honestly a turnoff for me. They're always overrated. If I read them, it is several years later. Yeah, I can understand that so much because we have so many examples of this. It's crazy how many examples of books that have that same dynamic that Cher is describing. So many. Amalua said, depends on who is saying this. There are folks I share similar reading taste. I'll listen to. However, if a book is too hyped in general, I will give it a year. Yeah, okay, so it's very similar to Cher. Cher said, this group is all on the same page. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. We are not influenced just because the book train is coming through. Um, Tracy said yes to Gina. It's really good. Katrina Simpson, she's currently reading Meet Me at the Crossroads by Megan Giddings. Very nice. Welcome, Katrina. Me plus two said not too influenced. Also depends on who's telling me about it. I will take suggestions slash reviews with a grain of salt. Okay, girl, that's the straight up clear. I get you. Bertie said, if I get recommended one more time, Sarah J. Mass, I'm gonna throw a fit. Yeah, well, stay off book talk then, because that's all he's recommending over there. Curly Q said, it depends. I don't do book talk at all, so I have to trust the person who is talking about it. I get most recs from here. Yeah, okay. Bertie says the only book that I bought because of everybody recommending it was James. Yeah, a lot of people read James. A lot of people read James. But James is excellent. Teresa said, if I really want to read a book, I will read it regardless of the hype or reviews because I might love what someone else hates or the reverse. Okay, now, see, this is the reason why I said the person that I was watching, I was surprised when she gave up after 10 pages. I was like, girl, how are you giving up after 10 pages? Like, come on, let's like lean in. Let's like maybe do 50 at least. But I think she was influenced by her people say. And that's why she gave up on it. And I will tell you what book she was reading because if you did, you would get mad and you give me the look. Um, Rosa said, for me, the most important part is the synopsis. But in terms of influencers, it depends on who it is. Yeah. And even for the synopsis, I'll be looking at the synopsis sometimes with a side eye. Because after you read the book and then you read the synopsis, like, what kind of synopsis is this? This ain't it. This is not the book I read. It's really weird. Curly Q said, I agree. Sometimes if my mom's friends suggest a book, I will consider it. Okay. Bertie said, three friends of mine are really bad for my wallet and my book space. Bree, and my friend Amanda at the Naughty Librarian, and Alyssa at I like Alyssa, the nerdy nurse reads. I like her and her podcast with Naomi TBR Lowdown. Yeah, I could see them all killing your TBR because they be reading the books. Those ladies be reading the books. Um, Curtis said, for me, I take it on a case by case basis, whether the book is popular or not. Okay, that's good. I judge for myself to see if I like it or not. If I don't, I just DNF and move on. That's what I'm talking about. We're not gonna discuss it. We're gonna move on. We're gonna get to higher ground. But there are certain genre I avoid. Yeah, I'm the same. Amalila said, well, yeah, there are some auto buy authors for me, so it doesn't matter what anyone says. I know that's right. Cher said, Frida McFadden made me give up after 2 pages one time. Well, I could see that. I could see that. But I can't see you actually want to pick that book kind of book up. That's not your thing. I would never even suggest you read something like that because I see that's not the kind of book you would read. I would just say, I'm surprised you even tried. The only reason why I read the Freedom McFadden is because it was my book club here. It wound up on the list, and I was just like, Lord Jesus, ugh, why do we have to read this book? So yeah, now I know, and my fears were confirmed. It was terrible. Look, you said also if it's an author I enjoyed in the past, I don't care if it has no hype. I'm going to read it. Yeah. I'm a list to share. I'll never read another of her books. Yeah, no, I'm good. Tracy said she agrees with Amalola about Frida McFadden's books. Curly Q said, I rarely read the synopsis. I find them too revealing. I usually don't even glance at them until I'm midway through the book. That's interesting. Yeah, because I know there are some readers who do not like at all reading a synopsis. They refuse. They go on the author and the title, and that's it. I've always been, read the inside cover. Now, I read the inside cover, not necessarily all of it, but I'll at least read the first paragraph to at least get a sense of what we're talking about, and then I'm good. Bertie said, I DNF'd an author that everybody loves, not that they write badly. It just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. I'm not sure is what's written there. Wait, it's popped up. Okay. Curlicue said I have also DNF'd. I also have DNF'd an author I love. I was just upset at the direction of the book. Yeah, and this is something that can always happen, is that I can give you a perfect example of that one. Ta-Nehisi Coates, he decided to venture off into fiction, and he wrote The Water Dancer, and I was all in, because I'm like, oh my God, he's going to write fiction. I was so excited. I was thrilled. And then I started to read it, and our buddy read the Water Dancer with Patrice. So Patrice and I were reading together. And I can remember we had read like the first three chapters, and we were like, what the fuck are we reading? It's like, what the fuck is this book? It was not good, And so, we were buddy reading, so we said, let's persevere. We're gonna persevere. So we persevered all the way to the end, and we were still like, what the fuck am I reading? That's all we could keep saying was, what are we reading? What are we reading? So, that's an author he's almost an autobiography. He's an autobiographer for me, Ta-Nehisi Coates. But I was so disappointed when I read The Water Dancer and it was as bad as it was. I just was like, oh no, maybe he should just stick to nonfiction. So I can see something like that happening, like an author you really, really like, and they write a book and it's like, not as good as the other one, you know. Bertie said, as I keep on going with my booktube career, I've been leaning more into backlist books. Yeah, backlist books is where it's at. Melissa, I don't read synopsis too often. Oh, very good. Sarah said, Curly Q, 100% synopsis revealing too much. I usually just skim the first and last paragraph, and I never mention the synopsis in my Goodreads review because there are dozens of us out there that don't like them. Yeah. Bertie said, my copy of Parable of the Sower has an introduction by N.K. Jemisin, and she spoils the book in the foreword. Now, that's the thing. Introductions are always this way. They always, because they're hired to be making a kind of quick analysis that, you really care to read it. I wouldn't read it before you read the book. I always read my introductions after I finish the book. But I think that's just how they're supposed to be written. And they often do contain major spoilers. So yeah, I always have to keep that in mind. Me plus two says, I love reading the synopsis and I don't mind spoilers. It gives me something to look forward to. Oh, you good, girl. I don't like it. Amalola said to Birdie, yeah, no safe introductions and forwards for after I'm done. Yeah, definitely. Curly Q says to share, yep, the first paragraph I'll read occasionally. Rosa said, it's true the synopsis is designed to sell the book, but the storyline/subject is important for me. It really just depends. Certain subjects are just not for me. Yeah, I know. I know which one's just not for you, Rosa. Rosa don't like them medical books. Anything having to do with medical, Rosa out for the count. She's not doing it. Tracy said Mr. Coates definitely needs to stick to nonfiction. Oh my God. Yeah, pretty much. Cher said to Rose that's why my curated Goodreads friends come in. They usually complain about the same subjects I don't like, and it helps to steer me away. Mm-hmm. Brady says, yeah, now I read that stuff after I finish the book, the forward and the afterward. Yeah, because I mean, it's great, but you don't want to read that before you read the book, because you basically everything is you know everything that is going to happen, or at least if you don't know everything, you know some of the main, the main the main turns in the book per se. So I can see why people don't read the introduction. But I mean, it's good to read it after you've read the book. After you've read the book, it's fine because you can actually then learn a little bit more, dive a little deeper into some of the themes, some of the reasons why maybe this author chose to write about certain themes or certain subject matter. So yeah. Curly said, "Oh wow, I love a good medical book. ER was my show, and I was slightly obsessed with Robin Cook books when I was younger." Well, it depends. If you worked in the medical field most of your life, you might not want to read about it because you lived that shit. You worked in that, so you don't need to read about it. So people that don't work in it usually really love that kind of thing. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Not necessarily want to read about what you did as a profession for so long. It's just like, you know. So that's interesting. I'm glad to hear people's opinions on being influenced. And I find because the whole idea of books getting hyped is this is the thing. I never really could figure out because, like, I don't feel like there's any particular book that has been seriously hyped this year. Is that my impression, or is that the same impression you have? Because there's books that have come out, but I don't feel like we're hyped to the gods like back in the day. Or is it just that we've gotten smarter about all this hyping business? And so when something is hyped, we're not listening. But it just doesn't feel like books are getting hyped in the way that they used to, like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Okay, so Curly Q said that's true about working in the profession. Chair said 100% to what Dee said about medical people not wanting to read about it. Plus, it is ridiculously wrong. See, that's what I was afraid of sometimes. Yeah, rolling my eyes so hard at the MD wheeling the patient back to their room. Like, yeah, because I keep thinking maybe there's some things in it that are like hella wrong, in the way that they're written. I think the last thing I read that had a medical aspect to it was a book by Emma Donahue. It was the one. It's called. I think it was called The Pull of Stars. It had a whole medical thing in it. Like obstetrics. And I was always wondered if that was written correctly or not. Teresa said the girly Q. I love the Robin Cook ME series. Rosa said book hype will leave you broke and mad. Yeah. Oh my God. Rosa said that I know her so well. Look, girl, I know what you like and I know what you don't like. Okay. I know. Um, yeah, I feel like the hype will leave you broke and mad, but I don't feel like there's any book that has been seriously hyped this year. Am I wrong for saying that? I just don't feel it. Let's see. Coming of Water had a medical aspect, but he's a doctor, so yeah, and it wasn't nearly as dramatic as the one that I'm thinking about, the scene that I'm thinking about. Um Really said you are right about that, Rosa, especially mad. Like who running these coins back for this trash? Cher said thrillers sometimes have a good synopsis, like only four sentences with a built-in cliffhanger to hook you. Yeah. Particularly when it's a long series. Curly Q said you're right about a book not really being hyped, but I feel like I'm under a rock lately. Cher said Covenant of Water was medically accurate, but felt like going to work and not getting paid for it. I mean, it had to be medically accurate. He's a doctor, so like I don't doubt what he's writing. But the Emma Donahue one, I would love for someone to tell me if what she was writing for that there was a particular obstetric scene delivery. I would like to know how accurate that was. What I was reading it felt like it was accurate, but what do I know? I've only had kids. What do I know? It was 20th century when I had my kids, so it wasn't, 18 something when I had my kids. But I would like to know. The one that I'm thinking is called Full of the Stars by Emma Donahue. And let's see, Teresa says S.A. Cosby and Kennedy Ryan's books are heavily hyped. Okay. Curly said, Curly Q said, Kennedy Ryan is hyped and I ain't going at all. Okay. All right. So I guess, yeah, that's for the romance world, but I mean the romance world always shit's always getting hyped. What about for the contemporary and for the literary fiction? I just don't feel like books, there's not been one book that I can think has been super hyped. I think I think this is I think the overhyping, I think maybe it isn't happening as much anymore because I feel like they realize that we're on to them with that, the overhyped books that we're on to them and we're not falling for that anymore. That's what I think. I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like hype is always there like it has been in the past. So maybe I'm just not paying attention anymore. It should possibly be that I'm not paying attention to the hype as much anymore. Because I know romance is a different. It's a different. Everything is hyped in romance. The moment that the person is really popular, then yeah, it gets hyped. Romance, a lot of books. Um, Rosa said, "Don't forget the big hype books. Try the library first, then decide if it's worthy of your coins and space." It's a good way about it. The library first, then spend your money. Yeah, it seems like the best. It's the best route to go. Um, and I feel like that's what a lot of people are doing now that they weren't doing, say, for instance, 5 to 10 years ago. Me plus two said Zeal was hyped too. Love it. It wasn't that hype though. I mean, I don't think that was a hype book. I mean, I knew it was out, but it wasn't hyped per se. Um, yeah. Me plus two said never cared to read anything from Tony Ryan. Teresa says I definitely do that sometimes with the library. Yeah, we use the library. Library is a great place to read the book, to vet the book before you spend a dollar on it. Books are way too expensive to, you know, try to take a risk. They're way too expensive now. I don't think it got any real push either. I agree with you, D. I'm like, where? How? I'm all over the internet streets and I've seen people pushing zeal like that. Said S.A. Cosby King of Action is definitely good. There was only one of his books I didn't particularly care for. I didn't care for that one at all. It was terrible. And he even admitted it was not that great. So Curly just said, but my life system be on a hype train and you gotta speed read them because they are always 14-day loans. Damn. Yeah. No, I feel like Zeal needed to get more push than it actually got because I don't feel like it got enough push. Um, this is her third book, if I'm not mistaken. This is her. Wait, one. No, this is her fourth book, I think. Morgan Jerkins. I think it's her fourth book, if I'm not mistaken. I think King of Ashes got some push, but I feel like even King of Ashes could have gotten even more push because when we say push, who do we mean? I feel like there's a bit from the publishers, but then I feel like the gross majority of the push, particularly when it's a black author, comes from the readers. And I feel like I saw more people posting pics of King of Ashes than anything else this year, to the extent where you want to say it's being hyped. Zeal, I didn't see that many pictures of people talking about Zeal. Um, I think maybe I saw a thing on IG from the publishers, and then I saw a couple of people had posted Zeal on their timeline, but I didn't see that many people, that were like actually took pictures with it and stuff, and that actually talked about it. I just haven't seen that many people. I've seen a few, but not nearly as many as I thought I would. Yeah, that hype thing is very particular now because you write a book, you gotta push your own book. If you don't push your own book, nobody may see your damn book. Now, the way you can really tell is when you go in the bookstore, you see Zeal on the front table. This is the question. Or when you go to your library, do you see Zeal on your, front table of your library or something like that in the black section? I don't know how they do it. That's how you can really just push a little bit from the publisher libraries, the bookstores, that kind of thing. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of quiet all the way around. Olivia said I got King of Ashes from Book of the Month. Yeah, okay, well that's good. That's real good. But yeah, I feel like, you know, pushing books is maybe because, see, this is the thing, maybe because it's very watered down now, and there are so many content creators around books that we don't see, we can't watch everybody, we can't see everybody all the time. So that might be the reason why we don't see the hype as much coming from the readers. It's because it's just too many people, and we can't watch everybody's videos, and we don't watch everybody's videos. So we have trouble actually seeing the hype. Whereas 5 years ago, the hype was very obvious. There were a lot less content creators. Also, IG was a lot better because you could actually see people that you follow. So when there was a book that was, if a book came, if it was a book like Zeal came out, you would literally see, it would be like a sweeping, all of the black content creators would be talking about it. And now not so much. I don't know if it's something's changed. I can't put my finger on it, but something's different. Cher says Zeal only has 88. Yeah, you see? Reviews on Goodreads almost 2 months after being released. Doesn't seem like it was not hyped. I'm telling you, that book was not hyped. It's only got 88 reviews. Are you kidding me? A book like what was it? It was one book that I went and I saw on Goodreads, and it still has very few reviews. And I was just like, you got to be kidding. Dee said I got King of Ashes on audio by Macmillan and just started listening. Olivia said Zeal is incredible. Um, there's quite a lot of books that are suffering from not being reviewed or whatever. Let's see if I- So if you look at a book like Daughters of the Stone, which is by Dalma Laños Figueroa, so that book has been out for quite a long time because she had to republish the book herself. I think it's been about 10 years. On Goodreads, it only has 128 reviews. 128 reviews. And let's see. The second part of the book, which is The Woman of Endurance, which came out 2 years ago, I think it was. Wait. Yeah, it came out in 2022, 3 years ago. It only has 208 reviews. So, I don't know. People, I don't know. Daughters Daughters of the Stone by Dalma Lañas Figueroa. Have I read? No, I have not read Happy Land yet. I want to read Take My Hand. I'm going to be reading Take My Hand in July, and then in August I'm going to read Happy Land. Okay, because Olivia says Dolan is so good. Yes, she is. She's a very good writer. Yeah, to her writing months ago. Yeah, because I really enjoyed Winch when I read Winch was years ago though. And then I got a chance to read Bomb, and I really liked Bomb a lot. But it's very different from Winch. Like it's that's like night and day the kind of stories they are. But they're both very good stories. So the next one is Take My Hand, and I know that is a completely different story as well. So I'm gonna read that in July, and then I'm gonna follow up with Happy Land in August. So I'll be reading her books in in order. But Happy Land I thought was gonna get more of a push than it actually did, but it hasn't really gotten a big push either. Cher said maybe because publishers are running skeleton crews now, and workers are overworked so that they don't have as much time for the hyping as they used to. Doesn't even seem like books are getting edited. Yeah, now I agree with you on books not being edited because there's sometimes just some things that are just like, wait, what? What did I just read? There's some like really funny things way things are written, or that things should have been taken out, or should have been put in, or whatever. Let's see. Okay, I missed a comment. Rosa had said also with this algorithm messing up who you follow, it makes it hard to see who's being hyped. Exactly. I totally agree with that. Um, Tracy said the same. She agrees with Rosa. It's so annoying. Dee said, did they send any advanced copies for Zeal? Girl, I don't know. I pre-ordered a copy. I very rarely now get publishers asking me to read for them or to hype books for them. Um, it's been a minute since I've got one. Um, Tracy said, I thought you already read Take My Hand. No, I haven't read it. I'm reading it in July. Me plus two says, I'm loving Take My Hand and love the audiobook. Okay, that's good to know. Olivia said, Take My Hand is so intense. Yeah, I don't doubt. It's the storyline that, yeah, I can see it being very intense. Um, Sharon said publishers want people that make it rain 5 stars to review their art. But now, come on now. The thing about the publishers are that they will go to the length to send the content creator a book, but then in the end, they don't care if you read the book. All they want you to do is to prop that book up, hold up, do whatever you gotta do. I don't know, twerk with the book, whatever you're gonna do, show it, on your page, on all of your social media platforms. All I want you to do is show it. If you review and you say, hey, I've reviewed the book, you can, here's the link, you can go there. They don't care. They're not coming to watch your review. They're not coming to read your review. They don't care. They just want to make sure that you actually put it in yours or put it on your feed or put it on your YouTube or put it wherever you are. That's all they care about, which is basically doing the job for them. Um, Tracy says she thinks I'll like Take My Hand. I said I'm sure I will like it because I like the way Dylan Pelkins Valdez writes. I like her writing. Not twerking. Yes, girl, twerking. At one point, that's what people were doing. They was twerking with the books and stuff. I mean, I'm not making that up. That's what people were doing. They was out here twerking with the book. They was out here eating with the book. They was out here. They were doing everything with the book. Now, not so much. Ain't nobody doing nothing no more now. So it's. I feel like those hyping days are over. And it also could be because like some people actually. I feel like some people actually got paid. Real money to hype books. And most people did not. They got paid with the book itself. And so now I feel like the publishers don't want to pay nobody. They barely even want to give a book out now. If they feel like that book is more being hyped, then they're not going to be looking for bunches of content creators to get a free book. Now I know a lot of people go on what's the one with the that gives away the arcs. They go over there, but then they over there they even refuse to give people books sometimes. So I don't know. Something is different. Something has definitely changed. Something, yeah. NetGalley, they be fickle as fuck. And sometimes they be giving people books, sometimes they won't give them books. But I feel like there is something has definitely changed concerning hyping the books for sure. I feel like now if you're a writer and you publish a book with a big tent, publisher, you're gonna have to hype your own fucking book. You're gonna have to do all of the videos and why was Vanessa Riley working so hard to hype her own books when she had Island Queen come out, then she had that other one come out afterwards, and she had another one come out. That woman was working hard. Her videos were good. She was doing these cute like the little reels and stuff with her books, and she doing little videos, and sister was working hard to hype her own book by herself. Birdie said I did an author interview on my channel. She was fantastic, but like I had to have her team copy an e-copy because she denied me. She denied you on that galley. Well, damn, that's terrible. I tell you, the company I have the best relationship with is Akashic, and I made that connection all the way back in the day when I was a blogger, connected with Akashic, and it was for Eric Charles May's book. That connection is still strong. They will always send me e-copies of books, so they'll always let me know, oh, look, our catalog is coming out, oh, this is coming out, whatever. That connection is strong. Now there are other small ones like what's the other one that I have kind of a good connection with, but I haven't heard that much from them. A little bit, but not much. But I don't think they have published a lot lately. Um Cassava Republic, that's the other one that I have a really good relationship. But see, these are independent small book companies. I used to have a good relationship with Penguin Books UK, but I don't know, the connection just kind of dropped. They haven't written me about anything. So yeah, lately. Let's see. Bernie said I interview self-published authors now because you can go directly to them for anything. One of my favorite interviews I've done is a horror author, Robert P. Oton. Oton? Yeah, Oton, I think. I know I've had my experience with self-published authors. They creep me out. No, I can't do it. I can't. I cannot do it. Now, I'll just write directly to the author. I'll write directly to the author, and then, you know, stores will say yes, sure. I'd be happy to do an interview. Not a problem. They'll want to do it. I just haven't done that lately. Or if I want them to come to the book club and discuss the book with us, yeah, sure, I'll slip right in their DMs and ask the question, because if you don't ask, you don't know, you know. And usually I have no problems, you know, getting them to say, yeah, sure, I'd love to come and talk, you know, to your book club about the book. So I feel like the authors are very approachable, but I feel like it's the same problem. It's that if you are naturally a introverted person and you're a writer and you're spending all your time writing books, and now they want you to come up and, you know, suddenly become the publicity person, you know, to get your book sold. They want you doing all this, you know, all this marketing, which you're not really, you don't know how to do marketing. I get it. It's intimidating, I think, for them. No, the author's not coming. She can't come. She's at a book festival that weekend, so she was not going to be able to make it, unfortunately. But she said any other, you know, any other project, you know, she'd be willing to, you know, to do it. So we're not going to have Bunwo at the book club, unfortunately. Yeah, I asked, but it's yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, it's I think it's intimidating for them that suddenly, you know, they've done all this work, they've gotten published, they've got a beautiful cover, it's out, and now they got to spend all the rest of their time doing marketing stuff on IG and book talk. Yeah, you know, I feel like that's not fun. Bertie said, I like when you can directly interact with the author email, because dealing with anybody from a team makes it a little bit more difficult sometimes. Yeah, it can, depending on what the person is like. And as someone who worked in PR, some of the PR teams like to talk to you like you have no idea how it all works, and they expect you to have it right away, like you work for them, kind of thing. Yeah, you get that, but then you get the other side of things. You know, you get the PR team that isn't really clued into everything that's going on, and then get like what happened to me when I interviewed Dripped and Gucci. Okay, you get that scenario, and when you get that scenario, then that's when you know somebody dropping the ball everywhere. You know, so you know, they don't pay these PR teams that much money anyway, and that's why the, you know, work is a little bit, a little bit like this. Um, but yeah. Anyway, so that's it for today, guys. I am going to shove off now. It's getting late, and I've been on here quite a while. But it's been fun as usual. I'm gonna get to the reading. This is what I'm reading. Yeah, we're gonna try to finish something. I don't know. I mean, I'm starting all of them, so I'm gonna start. Probably gonna start Passion Tide tonight, which is the Caribathon read with PETA and Karen Runright Reads. Go check them out. I think they're doing some kind of I think they're doing some kind of discussion. I'm not sure how it works though. They're doing a check-in every 3 days, is it? I'm not really sure. You gotta go to their channel and figure it out, because I don't know. But have a great weekend. Oh, hello, Courtney. I'm about to leave, girl. You came in a little bit too late. Great Friday Reads. Thanks, Tracy. I'm glad you had time to come. Have a great weekend, everybody. Get a lot of good reading in. Get some sun, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Bye.